This episode of Crappie USA TV is brought to you by Cornfield Crappie Gear. Visit them at cornfieldcrappiegear.com. Dale Hollow is a scenic reservoir along the Kentucky-Tennessee border that was formed by damming the Obey River in 1943. This lake holds the world record for the largest smallmouth bass ever caught. But don't let that fool you. Local fishermen swear by Dale Hollow's crappie population, and it's a popular spot among Crappie USA anglers. We've come to Albany, Kentucky today to introduce you to the 2020 Crappie USA Amateur Division champions, the brother team of Lynn and Nathan Cochran. Their path to the championship this year was a hard-fought battle, but they arrived at Green River Lake in October and pulled off their second championship victory, their first in 6 years. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Crappie USA.
Lynn Cochran, Mackville, Kentucky. I'm Nathan Cochran, his younger brother, live in Mackville also. Like you said, it's just a small rural town. Proud of where we're from, like to hunt, fish, and everything outdoors. So we chose Dale Hollow today. We come down here a couple times a year, usually during the winter, and fish. We catch a lot of open water fish, a lot of good black crappie, so hopefully we can find some today and get on them. We've been fishing with Crappie USA since 2007, so about 14 years. Well, it's a national level event, a lot bigger fields you fish against. I mean, over 100 boats sometimes, so great group of people, great group of fishermen, great management staff that runs the organization. Well, we just got up here to the area that we're planning on fishing. It's been a while since we've been down here, so we're gonna try to locate some fish. Probably we're gonna be fishing mainly open water fish, so we're gonna idle around here and try to find some fish out here in open water and drop 2 or 3 waypoints. That way we're spending our time wisely, not just putting the poles in the water. And you know, you can get lucky like that sometime, but you really need to find fish sometime when you're in open water. We fish Green River and Taylorsville a lot. We fish Cumberland some. This is probably 4th in line for us. We make it down a couple times a year basically, and that's about it. During the spring, we like to pitch and cast a jig more than anything. We've got to where we fish vertical a whole lot more, one pole, single pole, vertical. During the summer a whole lot, we throw crankbaits, and we don't throw crankbaits as much as we used to just because of the live scope. It's changed the way we fish. It's changed the way a whole lot of people fish.
The fish in this lake are really quality fish, black fish. They weigh really good. So, that's what we'd hope for, but you never know what you're gonna get when you come out here. You might get 12 pounds, you might get 7 pounds, so.
I like pre-spawn, and around here it's usually March. Fish are as big as they're gonna get all year, and they're aggressive.
Active, yes. It's
very active, and you catch some beautiful fish that time of year.
And a lot of numbers. I mean, numbers-wise, it's just about anything you could ask for is that time of year in a fish.
Well, we have in the past, of course, we didn't have live scope, so we've relied more on traditional sonar, side scan, and down scan. Live scope really brings things in to focus a lot more. It's a lot smaller window that you're looking at. It's a lot more precision fishing. As you can see today, we're looking at fish on here, and we're directing one of our baits right to it, moving it up and down in the water column to adjust to the fish. The electronics in the last 10 years have really changed the game. I mean, if you're not at the forefront of the electronics, you're at a great disadvantage when it comes to competitive angling. Been married for almost 30 years. Got 3 children, Alex, Kennedy, and Jacob. 2 of them's in college, 1 of them's in the 8th grade. I work at a factory in Danville, printing magazines. I've been there for over 30 years, so love to fish, love to hunt, love to be outdoors.
Married with a couple boys. 1 in college, 1 in high school. Factory worker, do metal fabrication type work in the factory. Live in a little small town of Mackville, about 200 people out in the country. Basically love anything outdoors.
There's lots of times that my boat goes to work with me, and after work, my work is between Green River Lake and home, so
it saves me time, you know, after work, so.
Cornfield Crappie Gear Live Sweep, live image transducer control. Deploys and stows with the trolling motor, now mounted on the Terova trolling motor. Handheld key fob remote with wired pedals or upgrade to wireless pedals. Complete kit with everything to mount onto the Terova trolling motor at cornfieldcrappiegear.com.
Starting off today with just a variety, some straight minnows, some jigs tipped with minnows, to kind of determine what the fish might like better and make adjustments as necessary.
You know, we've been using a whole lot of the same stuff for years. We've got rod holders on our boat that we've used. This is the 3rd or 4th boat they've been on. Driftmaster rod holders, which they're a sponsor of Crappie USA also, and another good product that we've used from the start. We still use it. We use mostly big bite. We do use other things. We use muddy water baits, slabinator jigs, crappie magnet stuff, but I mean mostly big bite bait stuff. And you know, fishing is one of those things that you got to have confidence what you're using, and you know what I use he might not have confidence in. I mean we sway a little bit, even though we fish together a whole lot. We're different. We tend to like different lures sometimes, and different, like, you know, different styles. You know, when you're using 2D sonar or downscan sonar, which it's not live, it's actually it's like a picture. With this live scope, it's live. So you're actually guessing when the fish come under the boat. But we've learned a whole lot of times the fish should come over, and time they get under the boat, they've gone 5 or 10 foot deeper. So if you've got those 16-foot poles out in front of the boat, and then you see the fish coming, you can adjust, and then you soon get where the majority of the fish are, so you can know where to you know, set your line at, set your bait at. Yeah. I mean, when you see them on the live scope, you're going to set it there, and that's where you're going to start. Then you adjust, you know, accordingly.
We use anything from slip bobbing, casting, pitching, one poling straight down vertical fishing, to trolling crankbaits, to spider rigging open water like we are today. That is seasonal. You know, depth of water is also seasonal. You just have to fish where the fish are and how they want to bite. I mean, it can be different from day to day, so you just have to know a lot of different techniques. Well, our baits are mainly big bite baits. The crappie minnow and the swimming crappie minnow are probably our favorites. Like I said, we like to pitch, and the swimming crappie minnow is excellent for that. It gives you a great wiggle in the water with the boot tail that it has. Rods, we don't really have a preference. We just use what works. I mean, anything from B&M to Southerns we're using today. I've got a new ACC to try out. There's a lot of different brands on the market that fit a lot of different needs. The way we catch fish at Green, we don't catch at Taylorsville or maybe down here because of water clarity has such an effect. Cumberland, Dale Hollow, you're usually catching fish deeper just because of water clarity.
Something else on talking about depth of fish and seasonal. You take during the spawn, you'll have fish that's going to spawn in 6 inches of water. You have fish that's going to spawn in probably 20 foot of water, and it's all determined by water clarity. In a clear lake, they're going to hold deeper than they would be in a dirty lake. In a dirty lake, a whole lot of time, you know, you might be fishing 20, 25 foot of water, but if the water's dirty enough, some of those fish are as little as 2 or 3 foot underneath the water. Just like down here, if this water, say in March, when we were down here in March, we fished this same stretch of water through here, and the fish were 6 to 8 foot deep. I mean, but we had colored water. We had a lot of color in the water. We're used to fishing Taylorsville some, and if the water over there is dirtier, the fish hold shallower. Even though the water might be 50 degrees here and 50 degrees there, they're going to be deeper here just because the water's clear. These poles that we are fishing, if you'll notice, you've got a mark. And this mark is every 4 foot. Today we're fishing deeper water. Most of the fish we're catching around the 20 foot mark. We've got these marked at 4 foot. So if you're fishing, say in 10 foot of water and you're catching most of your fish at 8 foot deep, then you know with this mark every 4 foot, you know you got 4 to the first mark, 8 to the second mark, 12 to the third mark, and 16 to the butt. So it just helps you reference and get back to productive water quicker. And something else, we talk about seasonal, fishing different depths, fishing different styles, you know, spider rigging, the casting, the vertical jigging. You know, there's people that use single pole year round now. We've not got comfortable enough, but I'd say one of these days we could become one of those people that one pole year round. So
The vertical fishing is my preferred way. You know, I like bringing the fish up from straight down. I like feeling him. I like being able to feel him when he bites it.
my favorite is casting. I like to cast and pitch at them, but you know, there's times for both. I mean, even though you have fish on this one piece of structure, it might be in 10 foot of water, they might either hit it cast or they might vertical. I mean, it's odd, but
there's days that I'll pull up, there'll be fish on top of the pile, I'll cast to them and catch the fish off top. When they stop biting, then I'll pull up and vertical jig and you'll catch the fish that are down in the pile.
The live scope thing, everybody's looking down, oh man, it hurts my neck. So then we started making mounts that you could adjust up, or taller mount. Now you got the mounts that are so big and they're taking up so much room on the front of the deck. We got the idea to build the one that lays down. So that's our newest safety feature. You know, you can get your mounts up tall where you can see them, but yet lay them down so you can see where you're going. We want to build the best quality mount in the USA that we can build.
we're going back up here to an area this morning where we scanned and we saw some fish. The biggest concentration of fish appeared to be up here, so this is where we're headed.
Yeah, there's stuff down toward the bottom. Well, on here, running this speed with this thing, you don't get as good a picture. Yeah, them there look like gar.
Last year, Lake Cumberland was the only one that we fished just because it was the pandemic year, and they canceled the qualification event at Green River during the spring. So we usually fish Green and Cumberland, and we have fished Kentucky Lake. We might start fishing down here at Dale Hollow some. So you've got to qualify at a super event. I think they take the top 25 out of the amateur, top 25 out of the semi-pro, plus bump down. So it's not really hard to qualify.
We didn't actually know that if we were gonna get to do it this year, the way things were going, but everything worked out. So.
No, we actually won it in 2014 at Lake Cumberland. Then at Green this year in 2020, we got on some good fish. We found some fish before the dead period, and we left them alone, and they were still there come tournament day. So we were very lucky, very fortunate. We fished at Lake Cumberland. We qualified at Lake Cumberland. We usually fish Cumberland and Green River, and they had canceled the Green River event, spring event, because of COVID. So we qualified at Lake Cumberland, which was, I think it was in September. Very tough bite down there. We caught 8 fish a day. We come in the first day, our biggest fish that we caught, he caught one that weighed 171 and it died, so we had 7. I said, well, let's just go weigh them in, and we weighed them the first day, and we caught 8 each day, though. It was tough. It's at a national level, Crappie USA is, and you've got other organizations that are at a national level, but most of the other organizations don't come close for us to fish them. And, you know, if they did, we would probably fish some, but Crappie USA is what we started fishing. They fish Kentucky Lake, they fish Green River, they fish Cumberland. They've even got a tournament down here next year, so they're closer to home, and that's probably why we fish Crappie USA. Plus, I mean, they're good guys. Even the guys that fish Crappie USA are good guys. Popped off.
All right, I'm just going to demonstrate here the way we tie our double minnow rigs. Just broke off in a cedar top, so just going to go through the eye. I like just to start with my arm spread to give me plenty of length. I double the line, pinch it, go around my fingers twice. Then I take the hook
and I come right back through the loop. And then just pull down from both sides to leave a tag. I usually just take it then and hook it in the whichever eye I want. We're fishing deeper water today, so we will actually spread our jigs a little, our minnows a little more. Then we're using a 3/4 ounce egg sinker. I'll thread the line through. Pull it back tight. And we like to run our sinker closer to our bottom hook. It prevents everything from getting tangled up as bad. I'll run that line through that sinker about 4 times just to lock it in place. Water temperature's right at 40 degrees. It's 39 point, it's varying, but it's right at 40 degrees. And I'll come down and figure out exactly where I want to put my hook. And I don't know what this knot's called, but we just spin the hook about 8 times with the line doubled. Then run the tag end back through the loop at the top of the eye. Cinch it tight, clip off what's left of the tag. You can buy these pre-rigged to tie on, but we've always tied our own. It's just easier to keep everything organized. I mean, these are about a 3-foot spread. That way we're covering a pretty good amount of water. If we're fishing shallower water, we'll pull them down to about 2 foot. Just because you don't need to cover as much a variance in the water.
Also, in shallower water, you know, we'll use a smaller sinker instead of a 3/4. The only reason we're using a 3/4 today is because we're fishing deep.
Cornfield Crappie Gear Live Sweep, Live Image Transducer Control. Deploys and stows with the trolling motor, now mounted on the Terrova trolling motor. Handheld key fob remote with wired pedals or upgrade to wireless pedals. Complete kit with everything to mount onto the Terrova trolling motor at cornfieldcrappiegear.com.
Well, we've been fishing since we were big enough to, so, you know, it just got in our blood, and we it's really nice to combine the competition aspect with the fishing that we love. We're gonna fish, you know, whether or not we compete, so where else better could you be on a day like this?
We both work in a factory. We're not getting rich, but we're making a living. We both got kids. I've got 3 kids. I've got 2 in college, 1 in the 8th grade. Got a wife that allows us to do this crazy stuff all the time, so. You know, it takes a whole, it's a team effort. It's just not me, it's just not him, it's a family ordeal too, so. I can remember some of our first fishing trips. We used to fish a lot of farm ponds. We used to wade creeks and streams and rivers, and that's how we just learned to fish. Our dad taught us to hunt and fish, and
we've been blessed to be able to get out and do, you know, enjoy the outdoors the way that we have, and, you know, it's, we used to aggravate our poor mama till she'd take us fishing back in the old road that, you know, the car would barely make it down, but she would take us, and you know, it's just lucky to have parents that not only taught us but have supported us, you know, even till now. So, and I'm married too, got 2 boys, 1 in college, 1 in high school, both love to fish, so, you know, we're passing that down through the generations, and he's actually got a kid that already owns a boat too, so.
He'll probably want to fish a tournament one day, and we'll have to season him up because he's still a little bit on the green side. We used to go to Kentucky Lake a lot, and my youngest one, he was probably 7 or 8 years old, and he would load up and go, and he would get done he would get tired during the day, and I'd say, "You ready to go home?" And no, I'm gonna take a nap, and then we'll fish some more. So that's what he'd do. He'd lay down in the boat, take a nap, and get up ready to fish again. So.
Got several pictures of mine laying on the back deck of the boat or in the seat of sleep. So.
This guy.
When I was younger, I had bird dogs. We used to quail hunt all the time. We'd rabbit hunt some, squirrel hunt some, but deer hunting mostly, and turkey hunting. It'd have to be the classic victories in 14 and 2020. I mean, that's something. There's a lot better fishermen than we are out there that they never have won one of these things, and some of them won't never win one of them. And we're very fortunate to win 2 of them. I don't like fishing summer. I mean, I don't like the heat. I mean, I work night shift at times, and there's times that I wake up at 3 in the morning and I'll just hook to the boat and go fishing. You know, you're there at daylight and off by dinner. I do enjoy the summer for that, but as far as fishing all day during the summer, I really don't enjoy it. I also enjoy fishing during the winter too. I mean, you don't have a lot of traffic out here. Very relaxing. I've got a very good woman. I don't know. She don't like to fish. I usually take her fishing maybe once a year, and I think she just goes because I aggravate her to go. But that's about it.
Mine hasn't been on the boat in 3 years. They all love to eat fish. Our whole family loves to eat crappie. I mean, there's I could give away more at work than I could ever catch. So, but no, they're very supportive. They're great, both great women, and both great cooks too. So
yeah, I'm 48. I've been fishing probably 38 of the 48 years.
You ain't 48, you're 49.
Well, you know about it.
I'm 45. I've been fishing 40 years, just say. So, I mean, since we were, and I'll have to say this one here has taught me more than I can ever remember. I mean, he's led me through the hunting world and the fishing world, and we've been up, put many a mile on the road, ain't we?
Yeah, we have.
But had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And wouldn't do this, wouldn't run up and down the road and tournament fish with anybody else.
Probably our dad.
Our dad.
He used to take us fishing. You know, he worked weekends at times, and my mom worked during the week, and we would aggravate her on the weekend, on a Saturday or something. Dad would be working, and of course we would want to go fishing. She was a little bit old short lady. She'd hop in that old green Ford pickup truck, and she'd take us fishing. I mean, you know, that's just thing parents do, and as you know, we're parents too. And then, you know, when you have good parents, you try to be good parents. So.
It's been a pleasure watching these 2 men's path to victory this year. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and catch us next week on a new installment of Crappie USA. Like and subscribe to our YouTube to see more episodes and stay updated on Crappie USA TV. This episode of Crappie USA TV is brought to you by Cornfield Crappie Gear. Visit them at cornfieldcrappiegear.com.